Hello, and thanks for watching this video from Tx3Tech on structure drawing for TermitePro and TermitePro Basic. This video will be a detailed video about how to draw a house structure or import an aerial photo of the house in your drawing tool within TermitePro and TermitePro Basic. First, we're going to get into TermitePro. I'm going to select a customer. The John Doe customer, we're going to do a regular drawing of the house. Select that. And we're going to go into the Structure tab. This is the drawing tool. On the left, you notice it's a scroll bar of all the different features in structure drawing. And then you have the tabs on the left also: structure drawing, state findings, federal findings. The first portion is the structure drawing. This is the line drawing portion and what will be used mostly for drawing a house. So I'm just going to select that and basically draw a quick little house here. If you notice, as your stylus or your finger is still on the screen, the line is still active, and when you let go, the line stops. Then put the stylus or your finger as close to the end point as possible, and then draw the next line. Next line. And as you can see, when you lift your finger or stylus off, the line ends, and it always grabs that last point. So we got this portion done, and then I'm going to scroll down here, and we're going to go with a dashed line with the color of blue. We'll start over here. This would be like if you wanted to draw an area that stands out from the rest for a specific reason, whatever that reason may be. And then we'll go back to solid. And let's see what else we can do. Let's say there's an arc on this corner. Just kind of basically draw a circle and then finish the house drawing solid, and we'll go back to black. So we got the outline of the house drawn. Now we're going to clean it up a little bit because we made that circle for that arc in the corner. Go to the erase feature. Once you select the erase feature here, right over here, you can select the size of the eraser. Large round, small square, large square. Depending on what you're doing, like the large round, you can see here, anything within the circle gets erased. So for this case, we're going to go with the small round. So what we want to do is we want to erase that inside of that circle. And then we want to erase also that one little overlap of that line. And that's done. So now we have the outline of the house. And then we're going to go over a couple of little features here. We got the house. This right here is like a grid squaring. And this would be like if you wanted to put in, there's a lot of different uses. Like if you were doing weeds or something on this drawing, you could take that, let's put the color with green, and then you go up here and you can see it basically just kind of grid squares it in there to show a portion of something, whatever your use would be. We also have a toggle grid button, so it puts grid lines over your sketch to help you draw the house a little bit better. If you wanted to make in your mind, each grid square would be 2 feet or whatnot when you're drawing it, or if you're doing linear feet. So this line up here is just a pointer. Let's go back to black for a color. This is a circle. This is a square. Like if you had a detached garage or something, you can just draw the square really quick, basically to speed up time. This is a freelance. I'm not really sure when you would use that, but we have that feature in there just in case you wanted it. This is a free line, an arrow. Whatever way you draw it to is where the arrow will point. So like if you wanted to point to this, if you wanted to delete some of this stuff, just delete the ones you don't want. We don't want this neither. And we're not going to have this squiggly line in. So we got the outside of the drawing done. Now we're going to go, let me see if there's any other features in here we didn't cover. I think we covered everything. So at this point we want to hit save. This is really the only time that you save anything within the app, because what this does is it saves this layer. The drawing tool is based on layers. You have the structured drawing layer, which is the actual drawing of the house. Then you have a state findings layer, and then you have a federal findings layer. Now, more than likely, you'll never do state findings and federal findings on the same drawing, but because they have different coding for the findings, we have to have different layers for them. So in this drawing, we're going to just do the state findings, and in the next drawing, I'll do the federal findings. So on here, it's again a scroll up, and this is the state of Arizona's findings. As we add other state forms, there'll probably be another drop down of what state, or whatever state you select will grab the findings for that state. But these are the Arizona findings symbols and codes. So we're going to go with that for this. This top part here is a note box. So if you wanted to add a little note, we're just going to call it a test note. Hit OK. And you see it puts it there. This little X with an arrow moves your findings. Now if you notice, it doesn't do anything to the structured drawing layer. It only does things on the findings, because we're on the findings layer. So at this point, you can't really do any editing to your structured drawing, only the findings. So we wrote a little note. We want to put an arrow kind of stating that that's where the note's to. So let's just grab SU. For Arizona, that's subterranean termites. And we're going to lay our findings, or place our findings where we found them. Let's just say there's a couple in here. And then DR for some dry rot. And again, all the state findings are in there. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they're all exactly the same as far as how you lay them and how you place them. And this is the delete button, so you can delete a finding if you don't like where it's placed. Just pop it on top of it when that's highlighted. Or you can move them around to kind of touch up your drawing. We'll put this up in the corner here. At this point, your findings are completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the state form and just kind of show you really quick how it looks. Just going to pick something in the state form, and then we're going to go to Documents, create a PDF, include the state form. So you can see the drawing page on the state form, what we just made. Open the PDF. It has the watermark here, using a demo version. But as you can see, this is the drawing we just made. It goes in the graph of structures. And it also places this comment: this structure has inaccessible areas. Please see comments page in box 2. So you don't have to put all your inaccessible areas on the drawing. The drawing is referencing page 2, box 19 of the Arizona WDIIR form. Save you some time in the field. Back arrow out of that. Back into structure. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a different drawing and use the federal findings layers. So this basically covers the state findings, and the drawing remains the same for everything. But let's go back into your customer list, and let's grab Bill House's property for that inspection and go to structure. Right now there's nothing in there, so let's take off the grid, and let's say in this case you wanted to import an aerial view. So of the house from like Google Maps or, you know, MapQuest or any of those sources that you can get aerial photos of houses. So hit the import button wherever you saved it. I'm just going to go photos. I have an aerial here. For demonstration purposes, we'll grab that. Now it lays the aerial onto the structure drawing layer. This is just another option for people. You know, I know a lot of bird inspectors that use our software like to put the aerial in there. Even weed guys and gals like to have it there. So that's how you import the structure. I want to undo that, the undo feature. So I think I didn't go over the undo feature that well on the last drawing, so I'm just going to show you really quick how that works. Let's put in a couple arrows here. Let's change the color to something that stands out in this drawing. And then go back to the arrows. I'm just going to put some arrows here if you were to show some problem areas for whatever you were doing on this drawing. And then if you wanted to like circle main spots with the arrows. That might be area where there's pigeons for the bird inspectors. And then the undo feature over here undo or undoes your last line or your last symbol that you make within the drawing structure. So if you notice kind of how we put those arrows in those circles, we're going to undo them. If you notice, that one's gone down here, up in the upper right corner. Upper left corner's gone, lower left. Now the arrows are all doing. So you can undo your drawing. That's like if you make a mistake on a wall or whatnot, but it only does the last line drawn in that sequence. So let's just really quickly make some more arrows here before we get to the findings page. Problem there. Alright, so now we'll go to state findings form. It's going to save your drawing layer down to federal findings. Federal findings is exactly the same as the state findings, except that it's got the federal finding codes, which is 1, 2, and 3. So you can just put those in there. 1s, 2s, 3s. You can move them around by putting the move button, or you can delete them. Deleting them. And that's basically it. Back up there. Now let's look what we did, and we'll look at the federal form. So we're going to uncheck Arizona. Let's just hit include findings under the federal forms. Generate the PDF. Open the PDF. See, this is what we just did. It has the key: 1 live insects, 2 dead insects, and 3 visible damage from wood destroying. And that's that. Go back in there. I wanted to touch one thing here. I'm going to go back to customer list. We're going to pick John Doe again, go back into his house. I wanted to touch on that undo feature. Let's toggle grid. So let's say there was a different portion of house here. The undo button, if you notice how that works. Let's see what else it does. And that's when it's unhighlighted, because now it can't undo anymore because we've already saved it prior to that. So that's just an example of how that works. It's best to get your drawing layer done right in the first place, and then once you hit save, that layer is saved permanently for that customer, for that drawing. So, well, that concludes the video today on structure drawing within TermitePro and TermitePro Basic. Thanks for watching this video.